My name is Clara Towson, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
I am Francisca George, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Susan Leemans, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom. Yeah.
My name is Zainab Sammaz, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hey guys, my name is Sasha Vickery, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hi, my name is Lloyd Harris, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Jan Faria, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Yes.
Take one. Well done.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Paolini, and I'm a friend of the show.
Wow, Jasmine, you got it in one time.
Ready? Play.
Hello. How are we doing?
Well, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you. How are you?
Doing pretty well. It's a nice evening where I'm at. Relatively warm out.
Yeah, absolutely. Where are you, sorry?
Like in the Midwestern United States. So
it's probably nice and warm. It's not particularly warm here, but it's not too bad.
Yeah.
It's not too bad.
Right. Hello, James.
Hello, sorry about that.
James has just joined us.
I just had somebody knock on my
Dodgy
door, so.
German hotel Wi-Fi works, which it does.
Can you hear me okay, Fergus? Can you hear me, Carson?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Perfect.
Which is good.
Yeah, as some of you may know, I am currently sort of stuck in New York because of the situation that happened at Heathrow a few days ago.
Right. Well, I'm sure that's a bundle of fun at the moment.
Yeah, so that's the reason why a lot of regular viewers will probably wonder why I'm on so late, and I usually would be today. But how are you? Both of you two are doing okay, aren't you, at the moment? And then, so let's see. Let's hope my hotel Wi-Fi sort of holds up throughout this match, if possible.
Yeah.
Speaking
when
of,
you're going to get back.
You go. Okay.
Oh, sorry, I was just asking James if he knows when he will actually be able to get back yet.
I'm flying out tomorrow evening, which should be.
Right.
We should hope, fingers crossed, as long as Virgin don't cancel my flight again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hopefully you get back there quickly. But players warming up right now, so it should just be another moment before this match begins.
We are covering Alejandro Davidovich Fokina versus Francis Tiafoe. I'm going to go, James, what do you think is going to happen? Obviously, Tiafoe hasn't been in the best form recently, and Davidovich Fokina has actually been playing some really, really strong tennis.
I think we're probably... You can't really bet against Alejandro, really. I mean, their last match they played, I believe, was in Acapulco a few weeks ago. And that was when, of course, as you mentioned, as you sort of alluded to there, Fergus, that was a great run for Foki to be able to get to the final there. Okay, didn't play his best tennis and wasn't able really to play his best tennis in that final against Thomas Mahatch. But as you say, just Tiafoe in the most rotten run of form at the moment, and it's we're probably going to talk about it a bit throughout this match, but it just seems to be another concurrent theme from Tiafoe is that he only really looks like he shows up for the US Open swing, and it's a bit surprising that we've come back to the Americas, we come it comes to Mexico and then over to the US, and he's still not found a bit of a spark even at this stage before we go onto his worst surface. So at the moment, I would go Fokina potentially in 3 would be my prediction.
And Carson?
As much as I would love to pick Tiafoe here, I feel like I agree with James. Like, he just has not been playing very great tennis lately, so I think we'll go with ADF. How are you feeling about this match, Fergus?
I agree with both of you. I mean, that first point pretty much sums up. Big forehand, heavy top spin, landing right on the baseline from Davidovich, Fokina, and Tiafoe's second serve. I mean, love 15 down. He's already got something to think about. Obviously, it's ridiculously early to be thinking about how that's going to affect the match. But, now it is love 30. So, I mean, vast start from Davidovich, Fokina. I think it's going to be Davidovich, Fokina in 2.
It also tends to be some of the things that we notice as well when it comes to Miami that as we saw with the Fonseca match a couple of days ago, and I suspect also he probably would have experienced it in the match earlier today. It can almost feel as though you're a Spanish speaking or a Portuguese speaking player. You get it's almost like a home tournament. It feels like in terms of the people that come out in the crowd to really get behind those players.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the scenes at the Draper Mensing match when the Fonseca match was moved, because people have been queuing for hours to watch Fonseca on grandstand, and then it was moved to stadium, and the boos were insanely loud, crazy loud. It was a bit ridiculous. 3 break points immediately for Davidovich, Fokina, just to back up what Carson, James, and I have all been saying. Really fast start from the Spaniard, who's been in really good.
Don't worry, people who are watching. We do have differing opinions on bits to do with tennis. It's just so happened that today we've all agreed on the same line.
Yeah, which is, I think, a first. I usually agree with most of the things James says, but Carson, I not as regularly. My stream's just crashed, so you guys are going to have to tell me what's going on.
All right. Well,
just cross-court exchanges at the moment. Tiafoe is trying to be the main aggressor up the line from Fokina, down the cross-court again, up the line by Fokina, cross-court by Tiafoe. Good bad slice. It nearly worked out there for Fokina. It just hit the net there before, and just hit the net. So first of those 3 break points have already been squandered really by the Spaniard.
I'm back now, so that's good. I'm just noticing that Gaston's a breakup against Berrettini in the first. That's interesting. A lot of seeds going out early.
It seems it's one of those weird things, this tournament, where when we were looking at Indian Wells, the seedings in both the men's and the women's tour or draw both held up incredibly well. Yet this week there's tumbling like flies.
All 4 men's semi-finalists are out for Indian Wells. They're all out in the second round. Their first matches: Rune, Medvedev, Alcaraz, and Draper, all out in the first round. Probably the biggest shock of those is probably Goffin taking out Alcaraz, as Davidovich, Fokina does break immediately first up. Tiafoe not getting under that slice and chops it into the net.
Well, quite a poor serving game there as well. Does have that many second serves in one game. It's not going to go well usually, but especially with growing a little bit. This is a separate ticketed session from today's session, so it'll take another 10 or 15 minutes, I think, to really fill up in there.
Especially with someone with Tiafoe's style, relies on that serve, especially to bail him out of trouble.
I think, as we saw as well, it's. I mean, if you look at the order of play, you know, okay, objectively from a tennis fan's perspective, you know, for this evening session, you know, maybe Fokina, Tiafoe, okay, maybe not really given the form of Fokina, but then you got Zheng, Townsend. I would be very surprised if this, or if today's, if there wasn't a fair few ticket returns, really, given the types of players that they're going to be playing in the night session today. Especially as, you know, especially on the women's tour, they really put the big hitters out early with Sabalenka and Goff in the day session, when Coco Gauff could have really helped sell a lot of tickets in the night session, certainly.
I was a little bit surprised that Coco Gauff played the day's session here. She has been playing evenings a little bit more regularly than she was when Brad Gilbert was her coach, so I thought it was maybe an obvious place to put her in the night session.
I guess a lot of it was sort of gathered from some questions being asked, certainly a lot of the female players, about where they get scheduled in the days. Because at the Australian Open, there was a couple of days in which people were quite surprised that all the women's matches got done quite quickly, all out of the way by 4 or 5 o'clock local time, and then all the men got put in the night session. That, you know, so a lot of women, of course, and a lot of players, generally both on the men's and the women's tour, do like to play in as early in the day as possible, because it really helps them with sort of scheduling themselves and their routines and whatnot. But then we can see as fans from a entertainment standpoint that, you know, we want to make sure that we have enough women playing in the night sessions, because they're the big prime time slots that the majority of the audiences can see. And yeah, it just feels as though maybe James Blake may have taken the considerations of the players and what they want over potentially what could have been good for the sport or the day as a schedule for the main show court, really.
Easy hold.
Very easy hold.
Very easy hold. Simple as they come, really. Yeah, as you say, I mean, if Davidovich Fokina does win this match and Tiafoe goes out second round, went out second round to I've lost my memory for who he lost to in Indian Wells. It will come to me in 2 seconds. James or Carson's probably going to tell me in about 2 seconds.
Oh, the Watanuki.
Yes, obviously very memorable match.
You beat me to the chase there, Carson. You beat me to the chase.
And he then goes on to the clay, where I don't think he has a singular point. He has points to defend in Houston, but apart from that,
but you know, not to be sound controversial, but is Houston real clay? You know, no, it doesn't.
It's a fast play.
It's fake.
Whatever that
fake play.
Or is that basically just going onto a muddy football pitch, really, in terms of its actual quality?
Oh, it rains there like.
So sorry, anyone who loves the Houston tournament. If you do, brilliant. It looks great on the TV. Well, it kind of looks great on the TV. It looks a bit dirty, to be honest.
Yeah, I was about to say, does it? You're pushing it. Pulling it strong there.
All we know is that actually a lot of people do show up to the Houston tournament, which is fantastic, but it's not really proper clay.
It is well attended.
It is very well attended. It's glad to see that it's as well attended as it is.
I would say
it's like a bit surprising, I think, like how many people show up there for. I mean, that's the only clay tournament in the U.S. on the men's tour. In the women's side, there's obviously Charleston.
Charleston's a cracking tournament. Absolutely cracking tournament.
It is. Charleston is a much better tournament than Houston is. Houston and Newport give me the same sort of vibe, in the sense that they're both like not the least relevant, but as in they're I don't know how to put it, but they're kind of separate from their own season, because obviously they're both not. Grass and clay are both very European, and then there's just the two tournaments, obviously Newport and then Houston in America.
There are also two very historic tournaments as well. I mean, the Newport site has had tennis playing there all the way back to the 1850s, the 1860s. I mean, there was so much history and prestige, and the fact that the Newport tournament had the has that Hall of Fame element to it. I mean, I'm really disappointed at the fact that Newport has been taken off the calendar for this year for the men's ATP event, and they've only got a challenger and a WTA 125 there this year, because it just felt as though it was a good bit of history to have. It allowed players that wanted to go still play a little bit more on the grass after Wimbledon to get another tournament in, and then get themselves used to the time zones and the conditions in the United States. And yeah, it's just, in reality, it was never really going to pull up any trees in terms of telling us as fans about narratives towards the next big event, the US Open. But at least it was a nice bit of history, and it allowed the grass season to have an extra week.
I think just with Houston and the way it is, I think that obviously American clay is so different to European clay. It's like, I feel like you're not giving yourself the best opportunity to come into the European swing with full confidence that you understand the surface. I mean, obviously Fritz played extremely well on the clay last year. I mean, Paul made the semi-finals of Rome, but weren't any noticeable results for Shelton, Tiafoe, Korda, even Nakashima, Giron, Mickelson.
And what we've kind of noticed as well is that with Taylor Fritz, he used to play Houston, but a couple of years ago he stopped playing it, and he's just gone straight to Monte Carlo because he knows that in reality, yes, it's lovely to play another week in your home country, but if you want to make a real proper crack at clay and you want to be a serious top 5 player, you're going to have to be doing well at Monte Carlo, and a few US players have elected to skip Monte Carlo to actually play Houston instead. As you say, Ben Shelton's usually a name of somebody who's done that. Tiafoe's done that in the past, and Tommy Paul, and they're serious about the clay. They need to be playing Monte Carlo, not Houston.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at the entry list for Houston right now, top 5 players are Tommy Paul, Francis Tiafoe, Tabilo is there, but then you have Nakashima, Mickelson, Giron will be there, Lerner, and I mean some Australians as well, but it's just a lot of American and Australian players on that entry list right now.
Yeah, the big non-European nations of tennis just being the main quantity of entrants.
It's amazing how we just started the stream and we've just spent 5-10 minutes talking about Houston and the clay.
Yeah.
Not how I thought it would maybe go. We have a pressure point here for Fokina.
Yeah, 30-30, wants to make sure he holds his break. He doesn't want to be handing back the advantage.
Ozan, I didn't predict Jack to win today, because I just didn't make a prediction, because I had a gut feeling in my mind, not that there'd be a hangover from Indian Wells, but I just feel like it wouldn't be the same. And also, I don't think anyone could have expected Mensik to serve that well.
Jesus, I watched parts. I watched parts of that match, and it was one of those situations when I saw the draw and that he could have got Mensik in the second round. It was like that was one of the worst bogey players. I say bogey players, one of the worst sorts of players to get in the second round. Absolutely. As you say, just because it's Mensik played out of his skin. That's the first thing. As you pointed out, that's the first thing from that match. A 9.9 serve rating in a large part of the first set was brought up, and he basically hit. I think he hit more aces than Jack did during the match, which kind of showed just how well he was playing.
Yeah.
And as you say, Jack, is still a bit tired. I noticed he had his arm sleeve on, which he didn't have on at all during Indian Wells. So he's obviously looking to just give a little bit more protection to his arm to make sure no issues crop up there. And if he was able to have got a much more easier match, or a different type of player to get a match win under his belt, he could have probably worked his way into the tournament. But it was just a bad play really to draw, and that's a shame, really.
Yeah, what a pickup from Davidovich Fokina there. But he just pushes that ad point long back to deuce. Yeah, I think it's some pretty bad luck. Draper had a rough draw for Indian Wells and played brilliantly. I mean, having Fonseca first round, and then you come to Miami and you have Mensik first round. I mean, the only thing that could possibly top this is that if he goes to Monte Carlo and Tien qualifies for Monte Carlo and then he plays Draper in the first round. I mean, I think that'd be.
I think it'd be okay against Tien. I think a worse thing would potentially be to get a Fonseca
in Monte Carlo. Yeah.
Yeah, Fonseca in the second round because he's very good on clay. That would be a bit more of certainly a bit more of a nightmare sort of matchup to get that early on, really.
Great striking from Tiafoe, another break point.
Got an advantage now. Break point chance. You can see on looks like Gaston took the first.
Gaston took the first set against Berrettini.
Wow. Ugo.
It's long from Davidovich Fokina, and it's 2-2.
He'll feel annoyed about that one.
He will. He would have backed himself to pull off that lob. Tiafoe isn't the tallest guy on tour, but still quite a presence to get past. 2-2 first set. Berg's looking like it could go to a tie-break against Rublev in this first set.
Well, did Rublev break back? Because I saw he smash his racket before switching over.
Yes, it is. Berg 5-all, 40-30.
What you'll notice is I've done a classic thing, which is the scorecard I've completely covered with a book on my screen, so I'm not seeing the score.
So you can't see it. Yeah, I was about to say it is on the screen, James, but I'll let it slide.
Let that one pass.
Yeah.
I'm really happy we got Yorkshire's finest, Richard Haig, in the chair. This match is going to be officiated with utmost professionalism. I'm saying that seriously, by the way. Richard's a brilliant umpire.
I now want to know who's going to win Miami on the men's side now that there's no Medvedev, Draper, Rune, or Alcaraz.
The easy thing to say. The easy thing would be to say Zverev, but maybe
I'm going to go bold, and I'm going to
go
like an idiot for saying. No, I'm not going to go Djokovic. And I'm probably going to get a lot of really from this. Yeah, Fonseca.
Really?
No.
Go.
I don't think it's going to be Fonseca. I just Ozan. Is it going to be Fonseca, yes or no? And I'll stick with your prediction because it seems that anything you say, the opposite happens. So for that, the entirety of Indian Wells, he said that Jack was going to lose, and then Jack ended up winning. So he said he was going to lose to Fonseca last round.
I was more putting that down as John's curse on himself, to be honest.
Is this possibly the biggest chance someone will get to win a Masters in the next 5 years? That isn't like a top, that isn't like at the very top of men's tennis. No Alcaraz, no Sinner. I mean, Djokovic is there, but again, you don't feel as though he has the same presence on the court at the moment.
Zverev is still in. Fritz is still in. Tsitsipas is still in. Casper Ruud is still in. It's not like there are no good players left.
No, but that's not what I mean. I mean, is this the biggest chance? I mean, Zverev it's been shown in the last 2 months that Zverev is beatable, as is Fritz, as is Tsitsipas, as is Ruud.
Credit to Zverev, by the way, today for an incredible performance that he had against Jacob Fernley. I mean, as was sort of pointed out by a lot of stats that came from that match, he played just as well as he did when he to get to the final of the Australian Open today. And it's a lot of the we of course know with Sinner currently in suspension jail as he's been called online. There's an opening and a potential for somebody of either Alcaraz or Zverev to just take the number one ranking, and maybe Zverev, you would say if he was going to do it, he would certainly have to win Miami really before trying to win one of the other two clay court events that are going to come up. So great start for him to maybe look to do that.
That will be interesting. At this point, it's pretty clear that Sinner is going to keep the number one ranking for a while. Zverev just hasn't done much over this swing to gain points, but I think the race for number two is going to be interesting in the next couple of months, just because Alcaraz didn't really play before Roland Garros last year. I looked earlier this week. He's only defending 250 points before the French Open. And Zverev is defending over 1,200, including a title in Rome. So I think that could be maybe a more interesting race to watch over the next couple of months.
I think a lot when it comes to Zverev is going to now be, okay, if he has a good run in Miami, that sets him in good stead, but it's how he's going to start the clay season this year, because traditionally he's started it very slowly. Like, he's been subject to quite early round losses at Monte Carlo and Munich. Whereas, he then tends to try and turn it on then in around about that Madrid Rome period before the French Open. If he wants the world number one ranking, he's going to be hitting Monte Carlo hot and having a really deep run and potentially winning the title to stand a chance.
Big forehand from Tiafoe. Tries to get into this Davidovich Fokina service game. There are a couple stories that I think people need to look out for on the clay, of people dropping points and seeing if they can defend those points. People like Jarry, who made the final in Rome last year. Jarry's got a lot of points to defend, and whether he can is a different proposition. Double fault from Davidovich.
It's key to note that if Jarry doesn't defend any of those Rome final points, he will drop out the world's top 150.
Which is
that's like 650 of his 970 points or whatever he's at.
He would just be above 300, which would just keep him in the world's top 200.
That's a lot of pressure on one tournament.
It's a huge amount of pressure on one tournament. I was quite surprised that he didn't do it any better during the South American swing than he ended up doing. It very much feels as though this perpetual cycle that he's in at the moment of just no momentum and no momentum is really playing havoc with his ability to even try and win matches.
A point for 4 games in a row for Tiafoe.
And he has, yeah. Tiafoe's turned this on quite well.
Ooh.
Of course. He'll feel bad about that one. He should have been getting that one over.
He should.
That's unfortunate.
We've also got, as you say, talking about players that have a lot of points to defend in the clay season. There's 2 big ones that have a lot of points, certainly earlier on in the clay season, that they're going to have to defend, and that is Casper Ruud and Stefanos Tsitsipas. Tsitsipas, of course, with the 1,000 points from winning the Monte Carlo title last year, and then the 300 points from the Barcelona final, and then Casper Ruud, who's got 625 points from the final in Monte Carlo, and then winning the Barcelona title itself for 500. So both those 2 players, if they're unable to defend those points totals, could see themselves, well, certainly in the case of Tsitsipas, plummeting outside the world's top 20, and potentially, Casper Ruud could be just about keeping himself inside the world's top 20 if he doesn't do anything, doesn't defend them.
Bergs takes the first set against Rublev 7-5.
Interesting.
Sean just said in the chat, a little while ago, my stream's just crashed again. He's going to go de Minaur. I was actually just thinking, is this de Minaur's best chance to win a Masters with no Sinner, no Alcaraz? because those two are seeming like you just can't get past those two in big matches. I feel like if de Minaur's gonna win one, this is gonna be it.
It does feel as though, it's a now or never situation. It will be a now or never situation for de Minaur if he wanted to get a Masters title. Like, he doesn't mind hot, humid conditions. He's very averse in Australia in terms of playing like that. And he has a game that works really well on the hard court. And it's he's certainly one in major contention for it.
The hot, humid conditions maybe affect him a little bit less than some other players just because of the physical game that he likes to play. He can just wear people down. So his fitness is not much of a concern in these conditions. So it's a great opportunity for him. But James and I, to answer producers chat, James and I are one time zone apart. I'm in Central time zone, so.
Whereabouts are you based? Whereabouts are you at the moment, Carson?
Minneapolis. So
Minneapolis.
Basically straight west from where
straight west, whereas I'm in the most probably the most touristy part of New York at the moment. I'm just we ended up we ended up having to move hotels because we're here with a group of because my day job I'm a teacher and we've got a group of students at the moment. We were meant to fly back on Friday evening going into Saturday morning, but because of the Heathrow fire situation, our flight got cancelled, so we're now having to fly out tomorrow evening. And right now we've had to basically move ourselves to another hotel, which is the Paramount. Actually, I won't give the full name, but we are basically on a hotel next to Times Square in New York at this stage. I was about to think, I better not give the actual full location of where this hotel is on a live stream. That's maybe not the best idea in the world.
Maybe not.
Yeah, probably not. Too good from Davidovich Fokina, drop shot. Davidovich Fokina is just too fast. Ups the drop shot. And it's 30 or 3 all chance here for Davidovich Fokina. After saving break point in his last service game, he now maybe has a look in for a break point of his own. I think Davidovich Fokina has an opportunity to, if he goes on a little run here in Miami, and then has a strong clay season, I feel like he can make his way back up to where he was in the rankings, which is about that 25 mark, just inside the seedings. And I really like Davidovich Fokina's game style. It's very nice to watch, I think.
He is a lot of fun to watch.
He is. I think one of the questions we always need to ask with every Foki match is going to be: is Foki going to roll over in this match? Are we going to get a tumble?
Strong hold from Tiafoe, 4-3.
Have you seen that Twitter account? Did Foki fall?
Did Foki fall? I know that X account. I'm not playing, am I? There we go.
4-3. We're on serve here in the first set.
I think it's obviously getting towards crunch time. And I feel as though the closer we get to crunch time, the more I actually back Davidovich Fokina just with the way that the form that Tiafoe's been in at the moment. But it has to turn around at some point. And maybe this is the match that it does. We just don't know at this point. Tiafoe's been really struggling with consistency, and I mean, there's only one way to turn around there's only one way you can start turning things around, and that's by winning matches in tight scenarios. Especially gives you so much confidence. So coming towards the worst part of our year, James, on the clay. So we'll make the most of tomorrow watching Raducanu, and then we'll go into our hut and stick to just watching Draper for the rest of the year, of 3 months.
Well, I'm ever the optimist, ever the glass half full person. I think if Draper can make sure his movement is near enough, is nearly as good as it is on hard courts, on the clay courts, he has a game which should, in theory, translate over quite well to clay courts. So certainly a modern clay courter, that big spinny forehand, which will get the extra kick on a clay court. The aggression that he's now showing him in key parts. Like, I'm not sitting here going he's going to win Masters or anything like that, but I think we could get a good showing from Jack. And if that doesn't happen, then usually Cam Norrie's usually a clay court goat at some point. A shame his Leon tournament no longer exists. I still remember that week very fondly.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I think I agree with you that Jack will have a half decent clay court season. I mean, he actually can't. I mean, he doesn't have any. Well, he has a few points to defend in Munich, but
which bizarrely he's actually not. He's not down for this year.
He's not in the tallest four. No, he's not.
No, he's just electing to do the Masters events. It looks like this year, which, to be honest, he probably knows that he needs to be saving himself fully for the grass court season. So, just concentrating on the Masters events, and also given the fact that in those Masters events, comparative to last year where he got some rotten draws at the beginning, he's going to be a top 8 seed. Place like Monte Carlo, he's going to get a bye in the first round. I mean, he's going to be able to at least get some protection in the draw for the first couple of rounds or so, before then actually having to really then sort of step it on a bit later into those tournaments, which it's a high-risk strategy, not including any other clay court events, barring the Masters ones, and it could backfire, potentially could backfire. But if it doesn't and it actually plays off, he could potentially play a bit of a blind up going, in the clay court season.
I looked at his career record on clay. I think it was last week I looked at it and was surprised to see like his record was below like 50% on winning percentage. Obviously, there were some tough draws last year. That's a bit brutal and should be better, but I was a little bit surprised that it was as poor as it looks.
Well, he hasn't had many. The thing is, he hasn't had many seasons on the surface as well. No. I think last year was his first full year being able to actually do a full clay court season, or at least not been injured at any point during it.
It was the first time. Last year was the first time he was in Rome. He's only been to Roland Garros once, apart from last year. He's very inexperienced on it. And I mean, last year he had Hurkacz twice, and Medvedev once.
And of course, what happened last year with the constant losses he had earlier on in the build-up tournaments, his motivation was on the floor. Or at least his confidence, was on the floor. Certainly by the time he got to Vienna, lost quite early to Mahatch first round there, and then again just played very poorly against De Jong outside because he just had no confidence on the surface. And then basically, but hopefully that will now be different this time around.
That's on the screen. Earlier, producer just head up, but Francis Tiafoe's old coach is joining Alexei Popyrin's team. That's the first.
Yeah. What? Wayne Ferreira or
Wayne Ferreira.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting you've covered your screen. Yeah, Wayne Ferreira is going to join Alexei Popyrin's team. Obviously, he split with his coach a couple of weeks ago. So we'll see how that goes for him. He hasn't been in good form this year. Popyrin, after a really, really strong year last year, obviously won his maiden Masters title and strong run at the US Open. But yeah, really not a good start to the year. And just switching up that coach, it's a fresh start. He'll see how that goes as Davidovich Fokina holds for 4-all as it's crunch time in the first set.
Yeah, I mean, Popyrin is a player that tends to play quite well on clay. Quite rare for an Australian player actually to play so well on clay. So plenty of upside potentially going into the clay court season with Wayne working in his team.
Absolutely. I mean, De Minaur last year was great on the clay. Obviously made the quarterfinals of Roland Garros. But again, you say Australians aren't known for their clay. Thinking about like Thompson, Curious has had some great results on clay, but obviously that's a different situation. He's beaten Federer on clay.
Wow.
I believe. Is that right, producer? I believe he's beaten Federer on clay in 17, 18.
It must just be me only really going off the tennis TV funnies where he's basically throwing chairs around because he hates playing on the surface. But yeah, I didn't know he did that well.
Yeah, I think if our producer can double check that, I think he has. Yeah, clay. Yeah. 2015 Madrid.
I mean, that is a decade ago, to be fair.
I mean, Madrid's big servers heaven.
It's a little bit different than the other clay tournaments.
Yeah, it's very hard to get a gauge from Madrid actually. If how well somebody plays on the clay surface, it's more it's more. But as we know, the most comparable conditions are Rome, and why people always look at Rome as a benchmark for potential Roland Garros success.
Mm-hmm. To be honest, I didn't know that Federer and Kyrgios's head-to-head was that one-sided. I actually didn't know that, so that's good to find out. But anyway, yeah, that's plucked from the memory bank of watching a clip of it of Kyrgios taking down Federer and on clay. It's just stuck in my mind, so I'm glad I out-tennised you there, James.
Hey, you can out-tennis me all you like. A lot of my knowledge really is like 2021 onwards in terms of being quite solid. Anything from the teen years, if I'm a bit sketchy on, unless they're like big results that I learned from Team or Federer or Nadal.
I'm exactly the same. I just remember that one clip that's just stuck in my mind. But yeah, there you go. Look how young Kyrgios looks there. That's crazy.
It was a nice hold from Tiafoe.
Yeah, absolutely. Davidovich Fokina under big pressure now, serving to stay in this first set. It's all about the first point. I have a feeling, but I'm gonna say whoever wins the first point of this 10th game will win the game. I'm gonna go with that. But Tiafoe could be happy with how he's played. Obviously, he was 2-love down and very early on, had a poor start, but then rattled right back into it. So, yeah, played well overall, apart from that start.
Looks
like Berrettini has some pressure. I guess down at the moment.
Well, speaking of, you should have said, Carsten, speaking of another player that likes playing on the clay surface, onto Berrettini.
Berrettini. He has a lot of points to defend over the clay surface.
Yeah, well, luckily for him, I think he's got one chunk of Marrakesh points, and the main chunk of those clay points that he's got are from the post Wimbledon clay swing. So he doesn't have to worry about them affecting his ability to get seeded for Roland Garros or Wimbledon.
Which he wasn't seeded through Wimbledon last year, so.
No, he wasn't.
Step in the right direction for him just to get a couple of easier matches.
Had
the tournaments. So.
It's in round 2 of Wimbledon last year, so obviously that's a rough draw. But yeah,
ADF grabs the first point of this game.
Yeah, which is Davidovich Fokina. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, Berrettini making strides in the right direction, absolutely.
Rublev up a break right now, serving. Just one women's match happening on at the moment. Collins and Rebecca Mazarova. 4-3 for Collins. Collins obviously defending a title here in Miami last year.
Yeah, where she was just playing like lights out for like 3 weeks. like she said she was going to retire and then played absolutely crazy tennis and then decided not to retire.
No, and at the moment doing her best to try and make herself a polarizing figure with the paycheck thing statements and the clothes that she's been wearing and getting Coco Vandenway to wear as well.
Big hold from Gaston against Berrettini, saves 2 break points, 3-all. Berrettini really starting to feel it now. Just a bit of pressure there. 30-15 Davidovich Fokina. Ace, no, not an ace down the tee. My bad.
Bit premature there, Fergus. Bit premature.
Yeah, I thought it was an ace down the tee because Davidovich Fokina turned away like he'd hit an ace, but it doesn't matter because Tiafoe sends the return into the net. So 2 game points for Davidovich Fokina. It also seems that you were talking earlier about Monte Carlo and Tsitsipas. It also seems like Tsitsipas has turned on his form exactly when he needs to build up to Monte Carlo before he then has to defend all those points. It's perfect for him. He's been playing some really strong tennis. He found his mojo again. Obviously,
I'll tell you what, if he scams Monte Carlo again, he's the jammiest, luckiest sod on the tennis tour.
Someone's going to clip that and put it on Twitter and send it.
Yeah, I know they are.
I love looking at Stefanos' Twitter. It brightens my day.
Yeah. See whatever thing he picked up from GPT this week.
I'm curious to see. Well, I'm curious to see whether Kyrgios will play all 3 Masters on the clay. Obviously, says he doesn't like playing on the clay, but he's obviously got a protected ranking of 21, so he can enter there. Big hold from Davidovich Fokina, 5-all.
Well, let's just have a look first of all at so we already have the entry list for. I mean, first of all, Houston has been a tournament he has entered in the past, and he hasn't, and he isn't in that one, but he may be looking to get a wild card for that tournament. But looking at Monte Carlo, he's not down on the entry list for that tournament using his PR. I would be, given what we've seen from Kyrgios over the last few years, I wouldn't be surprised if he basically skips the clay court season and just goes straight to the grass.
Yeah,
I think that's probably the more likely outcome.
Yeah, there's someone that's, if he does do that, there's someone that's bound to predict in about 2 days that Kyrgios is going to win Wimbledon or something like that. Something ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm not seeing him.
Oh, well, that's not going to be me, by the way. I know I had the most out of it.
I was almost like setting it up for you, James, to say oh, you know what? I'll take the swing. Kyrgios is going to win Wimbledon.
No, I'm not going for that biscuit. Of course, everyone in the chat will probably think I'm going to say something like Jack Draper or something to Wimbledon, which I think could be in for a shot at trying to win it. But you can't not but favour Carlos in that tournament.
I was talking to Eddie the other day when we were doing the Raducanu Ishii match, and Eddie said he wouldn't be surprised at all if Draper won Wimbledon, which, maybe he will. Obviously, that would be crazy, but I just think it's maybe a couple years too early for me.
There are all questions about the fitness now in these bigger tournaments, but it seems like it's becoming more of a problem to win matches in fewer than 5 sets. Some of these Grand Slams, like U.S. Open was like 4 or 5 setters, and then the Australian Open, he opened with a pair of 5 setters before having to retire against Carlos. So
U.S. Open, he didn't drop a set until he didn't drop the semis.
Did he not?
No, all 3. He wasn't actually broke. Dimonor was the He was broken once by Van der Zandschulp, and then he was broken
Botic
once
Van der Zandschulp. Let's get the pronunciation, Fergus.
twice by Dimonor, and then that was it throughout the first 5 matches.
All right.
3 in 5 matches, and then 4 by Senna. So, and then obviously US Open. No, and then sorry, Australian Open. He was just really struggling with coming back from injury.
I mean, what he was still able to do there to get to win those 3 5-set matches and get to the second week of Australian Open for the first time ever. I mean, it's still a monumental achievement. But it is going to be a case of, I think we'd have to see Jack. Okay, yeah, we have seen him get a top 10 win at a Grand Slam when he beat De Minaur last year at the US Open. But we probably are going to need to see him beat, a Rublev or beat a Ruud or a Fritz or maybe even a Zverev at a Grand Slam first of all, before we can start really saying that he's a proper contender to win a tournament like that.
Anyway. It seems that every single time I come on here with James, all we do is talk about Draper. So we need to
you brought him up. I'm more than happy to talk about Davidovich Fokina or Hugo Gaston or Zizou Bergs. I like Zizou. He's a good. I really like Zizou Bergs.
Yeah, I like him too. But we'll move away from Draper. Berrettini was taken to I said Berrettini was under pressure. He was taken to deuce. But he did pull through, unfortunately. Well, not unfortunately, but so 4-3 Berrettini in the second there, still on serve. Rublev, a breakup in the second against Bergs. And Davidovich Fokina again serving to stay in this first set against Francis Tiafoe.
Big foe.
Oh, too good from Davidovich Fokina. Too good.
Oh yes, it's the old. It's like the chop of that one. Just going. It's a bit like a goalkeeper when you when he's like when like a player's one-on-one with the goalkeeper and you embarrass the goalkeeper so much by just basically kicking the winner through the inside of the keeper, which is the bit that has the shortest amount of gap between the goal and the keeper itself. I don't know what. I'm just trying to do a football analogy, and I've completely buggered that one up.
I was about to say that wasn't your best, James.
I just got like tongue-tied in trying to explain this bloody rule. Sorry.
Very strong start. Very strong start to this game from Davidovich Fokina. John, I don't reckon that's Bergs' best photo on tour.
It looks like he's been at the electrical substation in Surbiton when he had that photo taken.
But shout out Zizou Bergs, close friend of the show. Close friend of the show. Oof. Couldn't quite pull it off from Davidovich Fokina.
Oh yeah, he got it up and over, but just too far up and over.
Might have been the wrong choice. He got there in plenty of time. It might have been worth going line, but obviously, hindsight's a terrible thing. And thinking about that now, obviously, you can't change anything. So, still 34.
Line there might have been a little bit difficult as well. Might have had to put quite a bit of air underneath it.
Yeah, 30 all now. Tiafoe 2 points away from this from the first set.
This is one of the worst moments to get broken in an entire set. And I know it sounds like the most obvious thing possible, but it would be if you're literally just need to hit 2 more points to get yourself to a tiebreaker and you get yourself broken. I mean, you're like, bloody hell.
Fantastic return from Tiafoe. Fantastic set point for the American. I don't know how far behind you guys
Is he going to do it? I think you are. I think, Fergus, you are like five seconds ahead of me, like 5 seconds ahead of me.
I'll wait for it to happen, and then I'll wait 5 seconds, and then I'll react.
I'll talk through the point. Okay, Foki goes out wide, goes long, so we've got a second serve. Real good chance here for Tiafoe to get a good return. Okay, so Foki waiting. Foki goes down the line, down the tee by Tiafoe. All that go long just goes in. Down the line again by Tiafoe. Backhand by Foki. Forehand by Tiafoe. Cross court by Foki. Down the line by Tiafoe. Up the cross court by Foki. Down the cross court. He's fallen over and it's gone out. And wow. Tiafoe has the break.
And the first set, which means my prediction with Davidovich Fokina in 2 is out the window. But yeah,
my prediction is just still alive, but it is Foki to win in 3.
Excellent performance, excellent point there from Tiafoe. Such good point construction, and he's played that set really well. All credit goes to Tiafoe there. Very entertaining set of tennis, goes the way of the American after he was 2-love down. Davidovich Fokina started really brightly, and then Tiafoe sort of reeled him in. Yeah, high quality game, 14 unforced errors and 9 unforced errors. It was wasn't a low quality game by any means. Berrettini breaks in the second for 5-3 to serve for the second. Berg's looking to get the break back against Rublev, 15-30 on the Rublev serve. Yeah, interesting.
Danielle Collins just took the first set on the women's side. So up 6-4. Get the break to close out that set.
Such good depth from Tiafoe, and a lot of these ground strokes really pulling Davidovich Fokina apart and from side to side, and then just the hammer blow from Tiafoe. He's pumped. Not sure about the one black sock, one white sock from Davidovich Fokina.
Something he's done for a while, isn't it? Is a little bit of a tradition for him.
Tiafoe will take a whole lot of confidence from that first set. See what?
Yeah, I think there's a lot for him to take out of that, being down 2-love at the beginning of the set. And then just in that game, down 30-love, and then comes back with 4 straight.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll tell you what, Fergus, I can definitely tell you've got a more modern Apple map because you've got that camera thing where it follows you throughout the room.
Yeah, I know.
I can see it, like, you moving around the place and it's just not going to leave you alone.
Yeah, no, it is slightly annoying because it zooms in and out as well.
Yeah.
It is a bit annoying, but yeah. And I'm not really one that stays still a lot, so it follows me everywhere, especially when I'm back home. It loves to just zoom in and out like this. It's really quite frustrating. It'll be obviously Tiafoe broke to end set 1, so it'll be Tiafoe to get us started in set 2. Yeah, be interesting to see if Davidovich Fokina can put any early pressure on. Although I believe Davidovich Fokina has left
taking a toilet break.
Toilet, and Tiafoe's following him.
He's like, where is he? Come out.
Where's he gone? Yeah. He was literally walking directly up the tunnel there, like he was just going to follow him straight in there, try cycling out.
It's like he's going down like he's taking a bloody piss here or something.
Yeah, just like, I just want to play. Like, let's get on with it, guys. But yeah, well,
interesting. Well, at least a couple more minutes here.
Oh, hello, camera.
Yeah,
this is giving us a bit of entertainment. This will, as Medvedev would say, this is going on tennis TV.
Yeah.
Which, by the way,
he's staring down the tunnel waiting to come back. Could you poor Davidovich Fokina is going to come back from the toilet and just have Francis Tiafoe just in his face as he comes around the corner.
I love this. This is brilliant.
It completely psychs him out.
Oh, the shit house here is fantastic.
Love holding coming, I'm telling you. 4 aces.
Come on. How long does it take to get to the ready toilet? Why isn't there one nearby? Come on.
Because isn't it that it only like the toilet break only starts
from the moment they enter
when you actually go into the toilet. Yeah. So it's like if it's like a 5-minute walk to the nearest toilet, then like you have to wait 5 minutes and then we go to the toilet and then come back. Like it's crazy. Break point for Bergs to break.
I know. Like some of the, I think it was the US Open where one of the outside courts is like a good 5-7 minute walk away from the nearest toilet. So there was one match where he had to wait where the opponent had to wait 20 minutes for his opponent to come back onto court.
Yeah, especially when it's on the smaller courts. Like, it can be a while.
Yeah, if you're in one of the back courts at the U.S. Open, you are a good 5-minute walk away from literally anything on the grounds.
Clearly, looking at the way in which Tiafoe has a rubber band currently strapped around his leg, just trying to stretch things out. He's obviously concerned that something could potentially, break in his legs if he doesn't keep them warm.
I don't know whether that shot's Davidovich Fokina going to the toilet or it looks like he's coming back. Yeah,
coming back.
He's coming back. I was about to say that's taking a long time if he's still going. But yeah, I mean, at Wimbledon especially, it's not too bad. You're not like a long walk away from any sort of facility, I think so. But the US Open, it seems like it's really Flushing Meadows is really stretched out. So. Davidovich Fokina is back on court, and Tiafoe can stop staring down the tunnel. Bergs has another break point against Rublev to break, which is immediately saved by Rublev. Every time I say that, it's like it switches on the live feed, which is upsetting for Bergs.
Berrettini has taken the second set. Going to a decider.
Yes, indeed. On the women's side, who have you guys got? Just as I'm curious.
Like winning the tournament?
Yeah.
At this point? I think I'm leaning Sabalenka at the moment. My sleeper pick is Ashlyn Kruger.
Very, very valid. She's been playing some really good tennis.
Right. I mean, I don't think I could go against what Carlson says about Sabalenka. I mean, it's a weird one because not only it kind of feels like she needs to win a tournament like this just to make sure that what's the word I'm trying to find? Just to feel as though she's keeping some momentum up because how hard it was to lose the Australian Open, not to do the three-peat, and then there's had some pretty lackluster performances in some of the Masters events that are taking place afterwards. But I personally, actually, at the moment, don't think I would like to say I think Madison Keys actually may be able to do it. Don't know why, but I feel as though last tournament before going onto the clay, she'll want to have a good showing in Miami. Oh God, I don't know. I just got this feeling that Keys may just about do it.
I mean, Andreeva's got to run out of steam at some point, right? Like, you would feel as though she had. I mean, 3 Masters back to back. Like that's.
Her next match will be really interesting.
Who she got? Sorry,
Anisimova, who was the last.
That is interesting.
Not named Andreeva. So I mean, those.
I know. I think I knew that. Yeah. So yeah, that would be interesting. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'm gonna go Sab. You know what? I'm gonna go Goff, and I'm gonna switch it up a bit.
I don't feel like that's a bad pick, though.
No, she played well today against Zachary, but then against Zachary's not in the hottest of form right now. She's going to drop out she's already outside the world's top 50 now. But I don't think she has many points for the rest of the season.
She's plummeting like a stone, Zachary. It's...
Same with Azarenka.
That injury with Azarenka was really unfortunate.
Very much. She'll be outside of the top 50 as well.
Yeah, Jaber's gonna. I don't know how bad the injury is, but obviously she's gonna be someone's gonna drop as well. She had a really promising start to the season. Rublev saves 4 break points in that game to a hold for 4-2. As Tiafoe comes through his first service game, and it's 1-1 to the American man. Gaston already under pressure in his first service game against Berrettini in the third. What a huge result that'd be for Gaston if he could dismiss Berrettini. But that's a long way away now. Looking forward to tomorrow to Dimitrov Kachanov. That's a good match. Battle of sort of like the I don't know how to put it, but it's definitely something to look forward to. 2 of the more experienced members of Tour.
It's like you're trying to create a connection between the two, but you can't just about put your finger on it yet, Fergus.
They've sort of got. I feel like there are two players that have sort of got lost between the transition between the big 3 phasing out and these Sinner and Alcaraz coming into and Zverev coming into the 4. They've sort of got lost in that transition where Nadal wasn't that prevalent, but he was.
I've got a name. I've got a title: the Twilight Zone players.
Right. Yeah. Still very high quality players at the top of their game. Right. Maybe Davidovich Fokina saw that Tiafoe was staring down the tunnel on a camera, and that's thrown him off. That's 2 unforced errors to start the set from Davidovich Fokina on serve, and it's love 30. Already a chance for the American to leap on top of this game and feel as though he's right on top.
Do you feel like this is an important moment in the match? If you get broken here, 2nd time in a row, like it's love 40 now.
Yeah,
it was a really
drop
good
shot didn't come off, and it's love 43 break points for Big Foe.
That will be. Just looking at the schedule for tomorrow. I guess Pegula is going to play Anna Kalinskaya, who seems to be a little bit healthier now.
Yeah, she played really well in her first round match, or her second round match. Sorry, because she seeded. She was very strong. Especially could have been another potential banana skin match for Kalinskaya, but she came through. That is the 2nd breakpoint save. Just the 1 more to go.
1 more to go.
See if 3rd time is the charm. Here.
We will see. Right about now. Oh, too good from Davidovich Fokina. Forehand pass was just good enough. Tiafoe couldn't get the right.
Yeah.
Right.
Saves all 3 of them. Well, all 3 of them. Potentially could be more. Game's not over yet. But
absolutely not. James, I didn't know you were a teacher. What do you teach?
Mainly travel and tourism with a little bit of business.
Oh, right.
Yeah, at college level. So I teach like 16, 17, 18-year-olds.
Right. It will be a 4th break point for Tiafoe as Davidovich Fokina produced another error off the forehand side. Break point number 4 for Big Foe.
The forehand has gotten a little bit loose over these last few games.
Yeah, it has. Oh, Tiafoe pushes it wide, and the game goes on. Berg still searching for this break of the Rublev serve. Love 30 up on the Rublev serve at 4-3. There are not any Portuguese players at the Miami Open because Borges went out first round, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Borges went out first round. Yeah, Borges went out first round. And the second highest ranked Portuguese man, Faria, is gearing up for the European clay season as we speak.
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show. We love Jan Faria. Excellent hold from Davidovich Fokina. 4 break points, been and gone for Tiafoe. And maybe that is just where things start to work in Davidovich Fokina's favour. Berg's 2 break points against Rublev. I'm waiting for it to turn to 4-all.
Yeah, you feel like Bergs is eventually going to convert one of these.
Yeah, this is like...
looks like he has.
Well, that's great. It hasn't updated on my screen, but I'm going to take your word for it.
Updated on my scoreboard. He is just 2 obstructing break points.
Yeah.
But,
Rui, if you aren't subscribed to the channel, please do. That'd be very appreciated. Oof, I thought Davidovich Fokina was going to get to that, but he didn't. Is Daniel second set surely started with Collins?
That's Collins is serving. It's on serve. 1-2 right now. So.
Okay. Curious to know if, from an American perspective, who's going to have a better clay court season, Paul or Fritz? That's such a good backhand from Davidovich Fokina.
Oh, yeah, dug that out. It's like he dug that out from the fiery pits of hell. Jeez, he managed to get that over.
That's the first time that analogy has ever been used for a backhand down the line. That's the first and only time it will ever be used. Oh, then Tiafoe reads him with the cross-court backhand. He reads him.
Oh, I mean, just casual as you like. Good. Casual as you like.
Very good.
It's such a mental. It's such a mental sport. I mean, from here you're like, go line, go line, go line. But if he changes his mind from cross court to line, I guarantee you he misses that as Tiafoe holds for 2-1.
Yeah. Kind of feels like you want to have like a controller in front of you sometimes and go down, down, down.
Yeah.
No, don't go cross, don't go cross, down,
line.
down, down.
Go line. I feel like that all the time when I'm watching Nari.
Go forward, please, Nori, go forward.
Anyway, we're not getting into Nori right now.
Like a straightforward hold from Tiafoe, and it's like
it could have been so different. 30-15. Davidovich Fokina does go line, and it's 30-all, and then it's big pressure, but Tiafoe with an easy hold. Gaston 2-1 up on serve in the third, and 30-all on the Bergs serve at 4-all. Some nice little matches developing. I kind of want Gaston to beat Berrettini just for his result. And I want Bergs to come through against Rublev. Just see the seeds tumble, and we'll see who survives. I wonder whether something has just happened in the Bergs-Rublev match that has involved VAR and overturned a Rublev point, because his point's just been taken away from 30-all to 30-50.
Ooh, potentially.
If up, no, it's just updated and now it was just a glitch probably. It's now 40-30 Bergs. I don't know my sound up, so I don't know what Davidovich Fokina is asking for, but he's asking the umpire for something. I'm not entirely sure what's going on there.
Well, they're going to call time, and then he's going to make an announcement about something.
Just see how this develops.
Just give me one tick, everyone.
Showing a replay of something.
Sorry about that. I thought I just heard voices outside my room.
Davidovich Fokina challenged the call, I believe, on the baseline. It was called out and it was shown out, so I think that was a bit of an attempt from Davidovich Fokina to just see how far it was out or how close he was to landing it on the baseline, but we'll see very soon. It's just going up now.
We're going to show the replay before we begin this game.
It looked well out from here on. Yeah, I think Davidovich Fokina was probably going for a broke there. That's something that we was.
I saw he said something to the umpire right when he walked over to the bench. So I don't know. It seems like a bit late for a challenge there, though.
It was a very late challenge. Yeah, you're correct. Rublev will now serve to stay in the match. Just keeping everyone up to date with what's going on around courts.
A 4-minute break in between points there, which is interesting. And there's not a medical timeout or anything.
No, yeah. Davidovich Fokina not as fluid as he'd like to be at the moment. Very choppy between serves, missing that forehand's breaking down at the moment for Davidovich Fokina. He's just not quite producing as much as success as he would have liked. Good body serve though. Excellent body serve. Sorry, yeah, I asked you a question and then something happened, so we kind of skipped right over that.
Paul or Fritz, basically, who's going to do better on clay? Maybe lean Taylor Fritz. I think his baseline is higher, if that makes sense. Or with Tommy Paul, I could. Well, he's not playing Monte Carlo, but I could see Madrid or Rome if he gets just a bad matchup in a second round or third round and drops out early on. I just feel like I have a little more trust in Taylor Fritz to get a little bit deeper into the tournaments. That doesn't mean he can't lose, of course.
Yeah.
But if I had to just pick who would get more points over the 7-8 weeks in the clay court season, I'm probably going Fritz. I just think the baseline's a little bit higher at the moment, but Paul is just as dangerous as him.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Bergs dumps out Rublev 6-4 in straight sets, 7-5, 6-4. Great result for Zizou Bergs, friend of the show. As Davidovich Fokina saves that break point
Saves an 8th break point. Tiafoe's had plenty of churn looks at the Davidovich Fokina serve, especially with the 2 forehands Davidovich Fokina's hitting to the bottom of the net. They haven't even clipped the tape. It's breaking down for him at the moment a lot, but yeah.
I wonder if it's just like the actual temperature of the court as the sun has gone down. If he's just like struggling with the bounce of the ball a little bit more than he was at the beginning of the match. That was a good.
Yeah, really good point from Davidovich Fokina. Well constructed, really good. It came in at the right time and then played the drop shot really well. Tiafoe couldn't get there. That's another top 10 seed out of this tournament in Miami, and Davidovich Fokina holds. Very well played. For us, big win. Yeah, I like Jakub Mensik. I think his serve is ridiculous. It's definitely going to be interesting. I think the 3. Obviously, it's difficult to tell right now. Everyone's jumping on the Fonseca hype train. But Fonseca, Tien, and Mensik are 3 players that I think are just going to be really good. But
I think with Mensik, maybe it takes him a couple of years to figure out the tour. I was thinking about this before we got on, but there's sometimes like players that we write off after a year or 2 where they don't necessarily meet expectation. And I think sometimes you just need to give players a couple of years to grow into the tour a little bit. Kind of like Draper. Like, we've been talking about him for 5 years now, it feels like. And it's really just been in the last 8 months or so that he really feels like he's coming on. But I feel like Mensik is another one of those players that he's going to figure it out, but it maybe just takes him a little bit more time than maybe it took Alcaraz or Sinner.
Well, I can't remember whether it was his first ATP tournament, but he made the final in Dubai last year. Doha, last year. His first ever ATP Tour event, and lost to Kachanov in the final. Obviously beat Rublev in that run. So he's definitely got the game to be right at the top. And he's been around just about 6 months longer than, actually, I mean, he played his first tournament at the exact same time that Fonseca played his first tournament. So yeah, I guess they came on at pretty much the same time, but I think that Mensik had a bigger year last year than Fonseca did in terms of ranking wise. Ozan, I think they write them themselves. I think that it's not the same as like some football players or some people like that. Otherwise, I don't think that some of the opinions that come out do. Yeah.
No, they're definitely right there on.
Yeah.
Like what Riley Opelka said about doubles players. No publicist is ever going to write that.
Yeah. You could. I don't think there are many people you could pay to write that.
No.
That
strong think about opinion. Like he does 10-page or 10 screenshots that she posts. Like that's been well covered and discussed, but that probably didn't need to be as long.
Yeah,
as it was. But
hello, Arthur. What time is it? I'm thinking it's probably around 1 in the afternoon.
Like 1:30?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, 1:30 in Melbourne. So this is like prime time for you.
Yeah, but prime time tennis at the moment.
Yeah, surviving whilst you can, and then turn to the European clay, and everything's at night. It's 11:28 a.m. So we're just the wrong side of the hour, and the opposite side of midday. So still pretty good time for you, just getting in your last tennis at regular hours before you have to set your alarm clock for a ridiculous o'clock
so you can get up and watch your favorite players. Already subscribed. This guy knows what's up. He's already a subscriber. That's what we'd like to see.
Good one, Arthur.
Lou Burge's first top 10 win. Rich.
Is it his first top 10 win, really? Oh, I thought he'd already had one.
That seems like a bit of a surprise.
Yeah.
I mean, he played.
Wow.
It felt like
Great
he played
result for him.
Players last year, so.
Belgium
Yeah, man.
tennis.
Great sport. Both of them. Feel
On
like they
fire.
go up against top players all the time.
Belgium tennis. I mean, Goffin taking out Alcaraz last night, and Berg's taking out Rublev. I mean, Berg's put on his social media yesterday the picture of Goffin taking out Alcaraz and said, "Making Belgium tennis great again."
Well, he's
and now-
continued that theme on.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely on board with the Fonseca train. So, Arthur, where does Fonseca finish this year in terms of ranking-wise? Ooh,
That's a big question there, Fergus. Where does Fonseca finish in the rankings this year?
Oh, it's a question that the answer ranges from 1 to 50 from experience.
I would. It's one of those things where, like, I wouldn't be surprised if he was in the top 30. I would be pleasantly surprised if he was in the top 20. I would feel kind of, even though how good he is, I would be shocked if he got into the top 10.
I just don't think he can bridge the ranking gap. The points gap, sorry. Bridge the points gap in time to become a top 10 player by the end of the year. I think he will be seeded at the AO next year.
Yeah, I think that's a fair, a good realistic target there, Fergus.
That's what I've said. I've never changed that prediction, no matter who he beats. Rui, you say that Dimitrov's still maintaining a relatively high seeding, considering he'll be 34, Djokovic is 38, and he's 5th seed. So, but obviously Djokovic is a bit different to Dimitrov. One has 24 Grand Slam titles. One has a singular Masters title. And an ATP final.
He's very good, though.
Oh, yeah, Dimitrov, yeah.
Very, very good.
Good old Dimmy.
Again, with Kachanov, almost gets lost that he's won a Masters. Obviously, Kachanov's won a Masters as well. Great point, Tiafoe.
He's knocking on the door a lot. It seems this Tiafoe just knocking on the door, and at some point that door may open.
I just feel, though, if Davidovich Fokina can again come through this game, the more he saves, the more it's going to play with Tiafoe, especially with the form he's been in as he produces a big serve and Tiafoe goes long. With the form he's been in, the more that Davidovich Fokina saves these points, the more it's going to play with Tiafoe, and it's going to get closer and closer, and then we could be looking at a third set potentially, but obviously that's very optimistic. Everybody, please follow us on all socials. So please and thank you.
I'm more worried about your sleep schedule there, Fergus. If it goes to 3.
Wow. That's you don't even know. Carson knows it was Rebecca Andreeva. It was 4:30 in the morning due to rain, and I was there for that first set. The rain, we were supposed to start 11:30, 5 hours of rain. 4:30 I was committed. Isabel, Carson, Brenner and I were on. I left after the first set because I just needed to go to bed. I was going.
Yeah. Well, don't worry. We're going to be going back to Europe soon, so you can.
Absolutely, I'll be looking forward to it.
Normal
Again,
schedule. Sorry, Carson. Sorry, Carson. We know that you then have to spend 3 or 4 months of having to watch tennis a lot early in the morning.
I mean, nothing
So
is worse than the Australian swing for me.
Oh yeah.
That's where it's like the first matches are starting at like 10 p.m. It's like, do I really want to stay up all night and watch this? Maybe not. Tiafoe just got a warning for cursing at probably himself.
Ozan, you make a fantastic point. If our producer would be kind enough to put that on screen, that would be lovely. Yay! No, but yeah, I'm all commit. There's different.
We've lost the.
You now, James. Is it now? You can't actually see yourself, and you can
No,
just
all I can see is half of your head, Fergus. I can't see Carlson.
Great.
I can't see myself. John here is having an absolute mare backstage.
he's just messing with us at this point. He's just trying different things out. Dimitrov's consistency through the years should be commended. Absolutely. Dimitrov has been a super consistent player throughout huge periods. I mean, obviously he played I wouldn't say the peak of the big three, but definitely the latter peak of the big three, 2016, 17, 18. And he was obviously very competitive in that time. So all credit has to go to Dimitrov, and now he's obviously still playing super competitively in this stage of tennis. Spot of luck there.
Wow.
Yeah, spot of luck there for Davidovich Fokina. Still Tiafoe on top in this service game. But yeah, Berrettini a breakup in the third against Gaston. Trying to grind out that win. Good backhand exchange. Tiafoe coming out on top.
Yeah, Foki's just getting nowhere near Tiafoe's serve at the moment.
Yeah. Lots of cheap points coming off the Tiafoe serve, which is exactly what he wants to see. It's just like perfect example. I literally said it and it came to life as I said it. 3 point. That is exactly what I mean. I don't exactly know what that's about from Tiafoe, kind of throwing the ball in the umpire's direction. That was very strange. Umpire's laughing though, so it seems to be okay.
It sounds like it might be just some frustration from the warning that he got a moment ago. So
obviously, no one needs to be reminded about Francis Tiafoe and umpires, especially after Shanghai last year.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, we won't bring that up. But yeah, how's Collins doing?
It's 3-3 in the second set, so still on serve.
Still on serve.
At deuce right now.
Okay.
How do you see Fonseca against Dimino or Boo? Obviously, one of them is a more favorable matchup for him after. Dimino is. We talked about this a little bit earlier, but Dimino might be looking at this as a fantastic chance to win a Masters 1000. So.
Yeah. And, I think that Dimino does get past Fonseca if he wins today. I do think he gets past Fonseca. I know, obviously, James said that he has Fonseca down to potentially win this event, but I think that Dimino does get past Fonseca. It would obviously be a very tough match, but I do think he does. I'm not sure how many people will agree with me, but everyone has their An opinion.
So what we're saying is that match is going to decide who's going to win the title.
No, James, that's not what we're saying. We're not saying the match between Diminor and Fonseca is going to decide who wins Miami. If you told me in January we were pinning Miami on Fonseca Diminor, I would have laughed in your face.
It might be there though. Who knows? It's
James will be there though. James, if it is Fonseca Diminor, you can expect James on the watch along. 100%.
Absolutely.
James will be there.
Was it? Yeah, Yao. However, I don't know how to do his chant. Fonseca. God, I sound like Damien now.
Oh, is that? Oh, it's long. That was super dodgy from Tiafoe. Gave it nothing.
Yeah, I have to put that point away. I was asking how many screens I'm watching on. So I'm watching ADF and Tiafoe on a screen, and you can see on our screen here we've got the scores from all the ATP matches, and then on my phone I have the women's match going on. So 3 technically.
Oh, lovely. Sorry,
Yeah,
that
beforehand.
Sorry, that was that perfect. I had to make a noise. I had to make what is it? An accent, or at least a funny voice.
I think the last time I was on with you, James, we were. I can't actually remember the match, but you said that like one of the great things about there being tennis each week was that like you can turn on a random 250 final and it'd be a really, really great match. And I remember thinking, you know what, I'm going to turn on the Delray Beach final, thinking that it wouldn't be anything special. And boy, did that! It was such a fun game to watch. Davidovich Fokina versus Kepsmanovic, with Davidovich Fokina with a heartbreaking choke. But yeah, it's just reminded me because that was the last time we were on together.
Yeah, I love the fact we have a sport where you could, you could on a random Tuesday afternoon turn on the TV and you got tennis going, and it could be a really good match you could end up tuning into. Of course, there could be some absolute shockers you could turn into, and you could have the best match of the tournament take place in the first round, or you could have a Masters final in which is so one-sided you wonder what was the point.
That's a Runa Draper jab right there, 100%.
Maybe
I could see it. Literally, as you started that sentence, I was like, "That's 100% a Runa Draper jab." Anyway, stronghold from the Davidovich Fokina 4-all in the second.
All I'm saying is one player showed up for that match, the other didn't.
That is it's true. Fortunately for me and James's sake, it was
meant to be, one of the biggest moments in Jack's career, and his opponent couldn't even be bothered to show up. I mean, you just can't be having it.
I'm sure Runa was thinking that exact same thing.
I joke. I mean, he was in tears on the court, and I felt really bad for him after that loss because it was a beat down in a big final, which is probably a very embarrassing situation to be put yourself in.
Oh yeah, big start from Davidovich Fokina in this game.
Oh, that was a lovely forehand up line.
Jack double bounce Draper. Do you mean in the Alcaraz match, or are you referring to Auger-Aliassime last summer?
Yeah, that AA match.
Oh, we're not going back in time trying to make Jack Draper some sort of cheater. Not at me. Not at me.
We'll see what Arthur comes up with, whether he's talking about Alcaraz or Auger-Aliassime. Little gateway opening up here for the Davidovich Fokina. Just a little one.
I see.
Okay, the doors are a lot more open now. Love 30.
I'm not actually going to let James give his opinion on this because we could be here for a while. But on the Aliish theme, Draper still not over that point. Draper said he was happy to replay. OG Aliish theme, let it go. You know, life moves on. The tournament moved on. Draper played terribly against Runa the next day.
Absolutely terribly.
It's because I think he was completely just hung up on the social media.
For sure.
Everyone was
said,
like,
he did say after the tournament that his head was his body was on the court, but his head was completely elsewhere.
Yeah, he was just thinking about that double bounce. Yeah. And that's not Draper's, it's not really Draper's fault, really. I mean, it really wasn't a great call by the umpire. So,
I mean, let's be honest. Draper was going to win that match anyway. Let's start there.
This is why I didn't want James to answer the question. Right. Anyway, moving on.
Greg Ellensworth is a character.
I mean, Opelka can ask you that, answer that question for you.
Several players would like to say something about that, I'm sure. But
that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about how it's 30-all on Francis Tiafoe's serve against Davidovich Fokina in the second set. I'd like to see how that would work, though, after break point Tiafoe with a push.
I mean, just to go on that. I mean, like, overall, yes, it was. I already gave my opinion on it. If anyone finds like a stream from back when that thing happened, that point issue took place. You know, it'd be very hard for a player to know if there was a double bounce or not, especially how close it was with Chak's racket and the ball and whatnot and his position. But from that, we did get VAR introduced at all the, or at least all the main big tournaments, which has been a major success from such a horrible incident to take place.
Such a huge point.
Just backhand to backhand exchanges. Both players. Oh, he nearly got onto it. He nearly got onto it. Kicking himself there.
Wow.
What a fantastic point.
Yeah, great point. I thought Davidovich Fokina had done enough with the backhand, but it's tough. Right off the frame. I mean, you pay for the whole racket, you might as well use the frame.
Oh, come on, that's been nicked. You've nicked that comment from someone. From like one of them, like Nick Lester or somebody.
Absolutely not. It's my comment. No, it's the guy.
Where we heard that before from like Robbie
one of the guys in my local club. He says it all the time, so I just nicked it off them.
Pay for the whole racket, you might as well use it. Classic line. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to get copyrighted for that. Trademark, the old job lot.
I'm gonna get. That's 12 grand out my bank account. Huge hold from Tiafoe.
Yeah.
Right. Keeping his nose in front, Francis. Keeping his nose in front.
He is keeping his nose in front. That was the first break point that Tiafoe had to face in an hour and 26 minutes.
Right. So while we're in this changeover, Berrettini has won his match. So I'm sure you all saw on the scoreboard a little bit of a dicey service game there at the end, but he pulls through.
He does pull through.
Imanor has just started his match with Booth. That one to get into the technically third round. Imanor's first match though. And then Collins just got broken on her serve, so down 3-5 in the second set. So we might be the decider there. But there's a massive hold from Tiafoe.
Boo and Demonor playing for a place in the ring with Fonseca in the carnival.
To decide who's going to win the Miami Open.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
By the way, I really hope everyone at home can tell. I am joking. I'm just being a silly sod.
He's not. Great day for Bergs. First top 10 win. Oh wait,
Zizou.
It says earns his first top 20 win, but that's Rublev's 9th in the rankings, I believe. So it's also his top 10 win, first top 10 win. Yeah. That's strange that Tennis TV would put it as his first top 20 win and not his first top 10.
It's like Tennis TV are like, well, hang on a minute, is Rublev still in the top 10?
Someone's going to tell the intern that's written that in about 10 minutes that Rublev's 9th in the world.
They're not wrong, but
they're not.
A better stat.
They're not.
Yeah, they're not wrong.
Sounds a bit better first top 10 win than first top 20 win.
Yeah.
I don't know where that puts Bergs in the live rankings. I'm going to have a stab in the dark and say 73.
Hold the line, caller. He is currently on the race rankings or the live rankings?
Sorry, live rankings is going to be 61.
He's 49.
Wow, I'm way off.
Yeah, you are. It's 49. He's currently 31 on the race rankings.
So, did that win put him into the top 50?
For the time being, yes.
Yeah, there are several players. So, like Mensik is behind him now. Goffin, Fonseca, Boo, Safi Woolen. Like, there's a few players that could pass him.
Yeah.
But he's in
at the moment, he is in the top 50.
And he's already early on in the season in one of those situations you want to be in where your race ranking is higher than your actual ranking. Because then it means you're certainly moving in the right direction.
Can you do me a favor, James, and check if Billy Harris is still in the top 100 provisionally?
Sure.
At 99.
Oh, he's not. 101. He's in room 101. Bit of a British TV.
It will never happen.
If anyone gets that.
It would just. He's
2 points. He's currently 2 points off
because he has a lot of points to defend on the grass. Anyway, moving on.
Like
we'll
on the line for Grand Slam.
I wonder if he'll choose to go to Asia to play the hardcourt challenges this during the clay season.
I don't think he will. I think he'll come just because he has the opportunity to play to be in the main draw of a Grand Slam, and then you're gonna you won't pass up that opportunity to practice on the clay, and then if you play Roland Garros for the first time main draw, you with no practice. I feel like it's just not worth it. You'd rather grind out.
He could still enter himself into the French. The thing is, even if he's at 101 at the moment, that doesn't guarantee you're going to get into the main draw because usually the cutoff in recent years for slams has been around about 95, 96.
Yeah. Also, Harris isn't a bad clay court player. Obviously, he made the third round of qualifying of Roland Garros last year. Like, he can win clay court matches. So not impossible for him to do.
No, I mean,
he goes wide on.
He could very much choose. I mean, I'll have a look quickly to see if he's entered into any tournaments coming up. Give me a tick. Schedules.
He's in Menorca Madrid, the Madrid Challenger, and he's
Menorca and the Madrid Challenger are the ones in which he's been entered in. Yeah, so actually, he is going to choose to go play on the clay.
What did I say? Do I ever think Jubb will break through to the top 100? I'm going to say no. Unfortunately. What's his highest ranking? 124? Off the top of my head. I'm going to say 124. But I just think it's just... Obviously, he's still got quite a bit of time. If he puts some consistent results together, obviously has a few points to defend in Mallorca, in
on the grass, where he beat Shelton last year. What a result. 2 break points for Davidovich Fokina. Dun, dun, dun. Two games in a row that there's been break points on the American serve. No, I think Jeb will probably just linger outside the top 100, unfortunately. But I think there'll definitely be a couple big results in his career. But I do hope, I beg that he proves me wrong, because I really do like Jeb as a player.
Just a little bit
break.
That's Foki at the moment. Yeah, Foki's got opportunities there at the moment. Just lost the first one. Now got a second one to potentially get a break.
It's great serving.
Oh.
I think Davidovich Fokina will be disappointed with that return.
Yeah, at least want to get it back
a bit more.
At least get it back on the island.
Game's not over.
It has been going up the tee quite a bit from that side, so it's not like that was an unexpected serve right there.
Ooh.
Impressive from Tiafoe. Slap bang on the line. Oh, it's caught the back edge of the line. Wow, that is close.
Yeah, you can see by Foki's reaction. He thought that was going out.
Very surprised.
Huge hold from Tiafoe. Six-five.
Yeah.
And I wonder whether that is just a little turning point and whether Tiafoe feels as though he could probably get this done in straight sets now. 2 big chances for Davidovich Fokina there. And just couldn't
help carry him a little bit there. Getting pretty loud behind him at the moment.
Especially with that call on the forehand side, it looked Davidovich Fokina was convinced it was going wide, and it just snuck in, just dropped in time. Diminor on serve with Boo 2-1 in the first.
Mazarova did win the second set over Collins, so going to a tiebreaker there. Mazarova came through qualifying, so he's ranked 168 right now, so this is already
wow
tournament for her.
Great performance from her. See if she can do anything in the third. I assume Collins is playing on court 1 because Fils Diallo is last match.
They're on
grandstand. Collins on grandstand.
Who's on court 1 at the moment? Is it
court 1 at the moment has Fils Diallo.
Yeah, but they haven't started yet.
And then Butch Bacolts has Diminor Boo.
Yeah, okay. I just thought that Fils Diallo would have started by now.
They're warming up.
Ah, right, okay. Yeah, just hasn't updated. Yeah, they're warming up.
It's the classic. We're going to start at this time, and then
it starts 10 minutes later. Yeah.
Match actually begins.
Yeah, it's about to. Yeah, it's going to be a late one for us because it's currently 9 o'clock Miami time. Or about to be 9 o'clock Miami time.
Are you predicting a 3-hour thriller?
Oh yeah, 4 hours. We're gonna have the longest match of the year. No, not. We got two guys. It's very big. Like I'll be surprised that match goes beyond 2 hours. To be honest,
we're gonna have a Shang Mote repeat from Madrid last year when it was 4 hours. What, 4 hours 10?
Oh, yeah.
You know, I was talking about how
talking about how it could maybe be a chance for Tiafoe to do this in 2 in this game, but Davidovich Fokina has been rock solid. Races out to
Darling on. Ozan, I have not had a Miami tacos yet. I've not even been to Miami, but it's on the hit this one time.
Ozan, I'm actually curious because it seems that you are always on stream when I'm on stream, but I don't actually know where you're from. Feel free not to answer that, but just curious.
Who's that directed to?
Ozan.
Ozan.
2 more game points for Davidovich Fokina. Oh,
a little bit wide. First serve.
Okay. Now there's a bit of pressure.
In Atlanta. Good city. I've been there a couple of times.
It's a shame you lost your 250, Ozan, last year.
I mean, that's a
right,
pressure mistake.
I'm gonna have to go quickly. As you popped up, but thanks for letting me on for a bit.
Yeah,
absolutely. No worries.
Great having you.
If I can join back in, I'll join back on. But yeah, sorry about this.
No worries. That is all pressure. This is such a huge point. Oh, it's so well played by Davidovich Fokina.
That was amazing.
I mean, from 40 love up, I mean, Tiafoe must have been licking his lips thinking, here we go. This is where I add juice. This is where I come in after some couple mistakes, but an excellent forehand, which hasn't been as in full working order today, I wouldn't say.
It's been a little bit shaky.
Yeah. What a hold from Davidovich Fokina.
Into a tiebreak here.
Into a tiebreak. Could be that James is allowed back because we go to a third, but we will see who plays the tiebreak better.
Do you feel like there's a little bit of momentum behind ADF right now, though?
I have to agree. Feel as though this is a chance. I mean, Tiafoe, I feel like he has to reset entirely. I mean, that's the way to do it. First serve.
Here. So that's a good first point, though.
It is. It is. It's the way to do it. What a huge win for Tiafoe this would be after such a tricky year so far. Obviously, lost to Rindic Nesh in Australia, lost to Watanuki last week, 2 weeks ago, I guess, in Indian Wells. Just some wins that you just don't really expect from some losses you don't really expect from the Tiafoe racket. This would be a big one, especially with the form that Davidovich Fokina has been in. There is the mini break. As Davidovich Fokina goes long off the forehand, as we were saying. Forehand just inconsistent today.
Winner of this match faces the winner of Fiza and Diallo in the next round. So if you're Tiafoe and able to win this match,
I'll tell you what, that's a hell of a second serve from Davidovich Fokina.
Very good.
That's a seriously good second serve from Davidovich Fokina, very ballsy. And it's 2-1. Gets himself on the board, does the Spaniard. But Tiafoe still has this mini break. Tiafoe hitting the backhand super flat. Getting it to work. Oh, too flat. Into the net it goes.
Two.
Peace and Diallo just starting. 3-2 on for 3-2. Sorry, Demon against Boo on serve still. Wow, in the entire match, there has been 11 points over 9 shots. That is. You just think about how quickly the points are over. Like, there's been next to no extended rallies. Just crazy. Especially with how well Davidovich Fokina moves around the court. Would think he'd be extending these rallies.
I'm not sure that extending rallies really helps either of them necessarily. Like, both of them are fairly athletic. But
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they're not really. Both of them do want to win points a little bit quicker. So I guess I'm not shocked by that.
3-3, as close as you can get at the start of this tiebreak. 3-3 on serve. 1 point each on the opposites serve. I mean,
I'm not sure I've seen anything yet in the tiebreak that makes me lean one way
or the other. Agreed.
Probably still maybe just a slightly lean towards ADF. With the momentum coming into the tiebreaker, but
I've got your opinion on where Fonseca will end this year. I want you to tell me where Tien will end this year. His partner in crime, almost.
If he It's a good question. I think that long term, what Fonseca is going to do is going to outpace what Leonard Tien does. This year, I might lean Tien a little bit to finish higher in the rankings.
Oh yeah,
that's a good point.
That's a great point. I was just waiting for you to say it. Great point from Tiafoe. We were talking about how there hasn't been many over 9 shot rallies, and that was definitely over nine shots. And Tiafoe comes out to get on top of that to get the mini break again to really put himself in the driving seat now. 4-3. Diallo holds first up in his match, and it's Dimon's comfortably on serve in his. Top 40 for Tien. I agree. I think that sounds about right. I think you might be maybe one of the, well, you would be in a minority, I'd say, thinking that Tien is going to not outscore, but outdo Fonseca this year. Tiafoe goes long.
Yeah. I think it would be only this year, and only because Tien has shown that he can get into long, extended physical matches with the top players.
Hugely, yeah.
It's hard to teach that, and it's almost like the same thing that Medvedev does in a way.
Yeah,
it just doesn't go away, and that style of play is very effective against a lot of players. So I do think Fonseca is going to have the better career, but this year, as far as who would finish higher in the rankings, I think I would lean Tien.
Tien is the new Medvedev. So there you go. 5-4 Tiafoe back on serve in this tiebreak. I mean, it's pretty close. I'm gonna lean Tiafoe now.
I haven't seen the point yet, but
oh no. I was right to lean Tiafoe.
Unfortunate. Couple of match points now.
That is unfortunate for Davidovich. Fokina falls as he tries to change direction to chase after that forehand from Tiafoe, but it was too big, and now it is 2 match points for a huge win for Francis Tiafoe. I mean, this is just, I'd say it's probably his biggest win of the year. He hasn't won yet, obviously, but big first serve from Davidovich Fokina.
That was a really good serve. Needed it right there.
Excellent serve. Coming up on 2 hours, going into a third. We'll see if Davidovich Fokina can take us into a third. Still match point for the American, as on our screens it's kind of ruined it for us. It's just a little because it hasn't come up on my screen.
No, I haven't picked point yet.
It's a brilliant serve down the tee from Tiafoe. Screams in delight. What a brilliant win for Tiafoe.
Fires a ball out of the stadium, but
great. I mean, I'm very happy for Francis there. Great win for him. Davidovich Fokina, it was super tight game. It was a super tight match.
I mean, really the difference is that one break at the very end of the first set. Like, that's the differentiator.
Yeah.
Today, so.
And I mean, if you think about it, the amount of break points both had throughout the second set, like either way, it could have gone either way. And in that tiebreak, Tiafoe just played it. He just played that big point better. I mean, slightly unfortunate for Davidovich Fokina, fell over trying to chase that forehand, but you know, it's just how it goes sometimes, and it's unfortunate for him. But I think Tiafoe just about, for that performance in the first set coming back, I think he just about deserved it there.
Yeah, I think he did. The second set was very tight. Davidovich Fokina 0 of 3 on break points, and then Francis Tiafoe was 0 of 6. So most of those coming in earlier on in that second set, but we both had opportunities and both defended very well when they needed to. Francis hit a few big serves down the tee when he was serving from the ad side, which he likes that shot. Worked really well for him today in those big moments. So
yeah, absolutely.
Both of us made an incorrect prediction here. All of us, I guess.
All of us wrong.
A moment ago, but yeah, that was a very good match from him, and he'll face the winner of Fils and Diallo in the next match. So I think he'll back himself against either of those.
I mean, Fils is a tough match. Fils hasn't been in the best of form. He's been a bit inconsistent recently, but we know the level that Fils can bring. I say that if he had magnificent, he had a quarterfinals of Indian Wells he played. I don't know, as in start of the year before Indian Wells, he didn't have the best start, and then Indian Wells he played really well. He lost in a super tight match to Medvedev, where Medvedev just went crazy after that win. But yeah, so Fils is a tough challenge if it is Fils that he faces. Diallo is another tough challenge. It's not like Diallo doesn't pose a threat, so we'll definitely look forward to that one. But that will be, I believe, unless the producer needs anything else, I think that'll be all from us today. Thank you very much for joining me, Carson. It was very lovely to do this match.
It was awesome to do this with you, and for anyone watching, don't forget to subscribe on YouTube, follow on Twitter, X, whichever you would prefer to call it,
Instagram. All of the above.
Yeah.
Thank you all for watching, and Carson, I'll see you very soon, and I'll see everyone watching very soon too. Thanks, guys.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.